Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast. As I always say, the only podcast that you didn't know you needed. I say to my two friends, do you like foreign movies? Like Water for Chocolate? Do you like walking in the rain with holes in your pocket? Say hello, Josh.
Well, personally, um, if I had to make love, I think it would be under a big oak tree. Maybe
Well
maybe
played.
maybe a maple, depending on what year it is, and but some, if there's any syrup leaking out of the tree or anything, that gets a little sticky and stuff, and um, you got hygiene involved. So, uh,
It's going way too deep.
but yeah, I think if I had to make love, it would be underneath a big oak tree.
Well, that
Uh,
sounds like a sign
Brent,
of the times, Josh.
it does. What's your thoughts on that?
I've never had a Waterford chocolate.
It's water for chocolate.
That's what I said. What did I say?
I think you said Waterford chocolate.
Waterford.
Yeah.
Same thing. I've heard
Well,
it
I'm just
both
saying
ways.
it was a foreign movie back in the day, like Water for Chocolate.
I've
But
heard it both ways.
I think that they it was funny when I was reading those lyrics. I was like, it looks like they just got like a rhyming dictionary and just wrote lyrics for that song. But that's a song that I always oddly enjoyed. I think it's just kind of fun, and I just bounce around to it when it's playing.
It opened the album. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
and I love the way like chunks along. Da 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 da. I love that
and
feel.
for,
But
and
anyway,
for those that don't know, we're talking about the opening track for the 1997 album Seven, and the song "Sign of the Times." So if you don't know it, one of the best Night Ranger albums there is.
it's not a bad album. I chose it only because it is pouring rain here locally in Nashville for like 3 days. So again, I couldn't go with Rain Comes Crashing Down. I've done did that one there, boys. So anything else on the song before I move on?
No, but if you went with Revelation, I'd have been all over it.
All right, I'll get to that eventually. I'm
Yeah,
checking
yeah.
on
No,
the
you won't.
list. I will. I have
Be
to.
like,
I'm gonna
yeah, he'll
I'm gonna
do
run out of
Revelation
songs.
4 a.m. is what he'll do. I'm like,
I'll do,
is this the one? I'm like,
I was
don't
gonna
even
do
know
Kong.
Everybody loves
All
that.
right. So we're here today. This new episode we're going to talk about or introduce is we were fortunate enough to interview a guy named Tom Shannon. Josh, you want to give us a little rundown of why Tom Shannon is important to the world, not let alone us, but important to the world.
Well, Tom Shannon is basically where I started looking at records a little bit deeper. Tom Shannon is a major Kiss collector, has written Kiss vinyl collector, has written price guides and stuff, and he now has an organization, a label called the Rockologist, and they release Kiss related vinyl. Me and Brent have both purchased multiple projects from him. Bruce Kulick, and he does cool things with them. You got the vinyl, you got the Obi strip that he makes, and they're autographed, and they come with certificates.
There's the Obi.
Signed posters, stuff like that. There's the certificate. So a very, very knowledgeable guy.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool is, too, on the certificate, you see the hologram on the certificate?
Yeah.
It's got a number. He also puts that number on the vinyl so they match.
Oh, that's cool.
So therefore, it certifies that this is not a Frankenstein, which means assembling an album. Like, you find the vinyl in the store and you put it inside of a better jacket. That's what a Frankenstein copy is.
Gotcha.
But this certifies that all this, that way it's not counterfeited either. Anybody could counterfeit that, but you can't really counterfeit that hologram that says Rockologist with everybody having a certain serial number.
Yeah.
But
Sorry about that, Josh.
But with the new Night Ranger vinyl releases, with the colored Dawn Patrol and the colored Midnight Madness, he's licensed, these material, some of these materials, especially the new Peter Criss records, which Peter Criss is original drummer for Kiss, and so, he's basically started from scratch, created his own label, is now doing some licensing work with Universal. So with the new Night Ranger colored vinyl, I thought, hey, let's get Tom on here and talk a little bit about how licensing works, how, he's become from a fan to, creating these releases, And so it kind of checked a lot of boxes. We got the Night Ranger licensing, kind of aspect. We got the just the vinyl talk, and we got some Kiss talk, which we all like.
We loved it.
So, and he's just, like I said, knowledgeable. He goes from a fan perspective to being able to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So, fun guy to talk to. Just sit back and enjoy the interview. You will enjoy it, and you will learn something, and you'll learn about the business. A lot of times, I always get questions. The Dr. Pepper commercial or these records, are they official releases? How the band should.
Why is there so many greatest hits records? Can't they make anything else?
Yes, they and people always think the band has a say in this stuff, and this just goes to show you that no, if they were still recording on Universal, then maybe there'd be courtesy stuff. Hey, we think we're going to do this. What do you think? But Night Ranger, those masters for those 5 MCA records from the 80s, Night Ranger's not on Universal anymore, so MCA or Universal can license those however they want and not even inform the band. And I know some band members don't have the slightest clue about those releases. So
now,
you get
I'm sorry. You know what got me to thinking I'm not going to spoil the part, but where he talks about the amount that he has to press.
Yeah.
Well, who's to say that LMNR and Culture Factory USA, they released 1,000 colored vinyl. Doesn't mean they don't have anything else over the next 3 years that they don't have to press. I mean, but they could have a different contract altogether, I'm sure.
Yeah, correct. And then the other thing is he owns one of the holy grails in the Kiss world, which is a stock copy 45 of the Kiss song Let Me Go Rock and Roll. They think only 125 produced. They only know of 3 in the world. One's autographed, so that actually decreases the value.
Yeah, that's crazy, but I get if you're a collector, you want stock.
You want pristine. You don't want
pristine.
Ace, right? That's what's crazy is there's more promo copies out there than the stock copy. We talk about that and how it relates a little bit to the Night Ranger world, but it's up for auction right now. And so when you're listening to it, the auction will have ended the day before. So you can go see how much this 45 is worth. But Brent, right now it's up to $6,766.66. So
that's the bid of the beast.
Yeah, well, there's that fucking 7 in there. If someone,
people watching this quickly understand this is a 45 single.
Yep,
and it's currently bidding at $6,700.
No picture cover with it. It just came in a white sleeve. Just a 45. It's out there, and it's going to go up because most of the bidding will happen in the last probably 2 minutes.
We'll have to do an update on when it ended.
So so I'll probably post a link to the Facebook page so people can see it. Yeah, just that 45.
Look at that.
And you're going to own, if you're a Kiss fan, you probably own a ton of 45s that look just like that. It's just
not this one.
It's not Let Me Go Rock and Roll. And if you do own Let Me Go Rock and Roll,
send it to us. My address.
It will probably say promotional, not for sale on it. Mm-hmm. If it says Let Me Go Rock and Roll, and it's got to be that label. It can't be it can't be the Filmworks label. It's got to be
That's the Smoking Man label, the Bogart.
Yeah, so the blue, it has to be that blue label there. It cannot be any other type of label, and it's got to it cannot say promotion only. It's got to be a stock copy. If you have that, just send it to me, and I'll show it off.
We'll give you a guitar pick.
I'll give you some credit on the show.
And that shows you how dedicated he is to the Rockologist, because he's selling this to support the Peter Criss release that he's doing.
And one of those came up, the 45. Some vinyl dealer owns thousands of records, put one up, and he talks about this. So one was, a new one was discovered out there in the world, in the wild, and we'll talk, we talk about that in the interview. But so 6,700 right now, and by the time you're listening to this, go check it out, see what it ended for. So it's
Any thoughts on where you think it'll end?
I think 8 or 9.
Over 7? You think 8 or 9?
I'm thinking it's gonna hit 7 is my guess. Right around between 7,300 to 6,900.
I think it'll go a little bit higher. You just need 2 people that have pockets.
Yeah.
And if you're bidding $7,000, then obviously money isn't that.
Right.
You've got it. And if you have that bid and someone bids 7,500, well, what's $1,000 more at that point? And it'll go up quick at that point. So yeah, I'm thinking 8 or 9.
What are the fees going to be on that between PayPal and eBay?
PayPal will get at least 10%. With vinyl, sometimes they got more, but they will at least get 10%, and PayPal will get 4%.
eBay, yeah. So wow.
Yep. So right off the top, you lose 14%. Now that 10% off eBay varies depending on what you're selling. At one time, vinyl was more than 10%. I don't know if it is anymore or not, but so yeah, 14%. So check it out and see what it ends at. So stick around. You'll learn a little bit about the business and vinyl and Night Ranger, all that good stuff. So good stuff.
Yeah,
You'll enjoy it.
I'll tell you, I went into this thing because I'm not a collector. I'm not a big, none of that stuff. I found Tom incredibly fascinating and an absolute pleasure to talk to, man. I mean, I hope he comes back on the show, or we can just become friends because he's just got so much knowledge. And
I've been telling you about him for years.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I remember, and it's mentioned in the show, we bump into him at at one of the KISS events that you and I went to, but just really, just listen to the guy. He's fascinating.
And he's the very definition of a good old boy. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, his word is his honor. A handshake is as good as a signature on a piece of paper with that guy. That's how trustworthy he is.
Yeah. All right. So everybody, please, hopefully you stay tuned. Watch that. Don't just tune out after this is over, this little intro.
Yeah, you'll like it.
So our last episode was our Concert Stories 2. Do we have any thoughts on that one? Anything we want to discuss?
Well, it's our most viewed episode up to this point. So we're growing, we're doing good, and people are enjoying the page and the Night Ranger talk, and hopefully it continues. And I enjoyed seeing everybody else post their Night Ranger stories. What's great is we all have these stories, it seems. You'll see it on the page, on the Fans in Motion Facebook page. People will post great stories about meeting Brad and Kelly and all those guys, and so what's great is we all have that, and I enjoy reading everybody else's just as much as I listening to yours. So we'll have to think of something else, some more Night Ranger story stuff that we can do. But it was fun, talking about all that stuff.
It brought up so many memories. I started digging through all my ticket stubs, and interacting with people on the page, and which again I think is the greatest part of. We're lucky enough to have this platform to tell our stories and get out there, and we just chat and we kind of BS with each other. But I love on the page when people start interjecting and like, "Hey man, I was at that show," and I'm like, "Get out of here!" Yeah.
Well, I was impressed. We made 3 hours literally of our stories, and that's and there was still some we left out.
Yeah.
Between Andy and I of going to we really didn't get into the Blue Ash stuff a lot. But what I really loved was, where did you say we went to Brook Park, Indiana? And somebody said no, it wasn't that city.
Batesville.
And it was
Batesville is famous for the Batesville Casket Company.
Yeah, and it was Brook Park, right?
It was Brookville, Indiana.
Brookville. God, I still got it wrong.
Corrected on the page by someone who has more knowledge than we do.
What I remember most about that show was in the back right corner from the stage, there was a McDonald's.
Yeah.
And McDonald's was experimenting with a Chick-fil-A type sandwich at that point. And I think I ate 3 of them that night. It was so damn good. I couldn't believe and it's not even on the menu anymore. And it was the closest thing Chick-fil-A I ever had.
Yeah.
Is that what Kevin Barrett, I think his name was?
Yeah.
Is that why he put Brookville? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he corrected us. Because
So-
I even said to him on the page, when I said Batesville, I knew it wasn't right, but I was close. I was dancing around if I couldn't think of the name, and then he.
And I'm just like, yep, that sounds good to me. It starts with a B.
Yeah. So anyway, great fun, and I like doing those episodes, and I don't know, maybe we can dig deep and find something else to talk about. But do we have any? Is there any Night Ranger news that we want to talk about? That we have anything happening?
Brent, you got anything?
As far as them, they're just wrapping up the albums. All I can really say. I don't know to what extent, but it's close.
The album. There's going to be a new Night Ranger album. We talk about it every week. It's pretty much done. You still got the new Joel Hoekstra album out there. And you still have some live shows. There's the May show in South Dakota. There's the July show in Wabash, Indiana. And there seemed like there was another show, Iowa or something like that, was just announced. It was a pretty big show. There was Skid Row or something on it. I'll have to look it up, but there's a show in Iowa, June, somewhere around there, and there's 3 bands, Skid Row, Great White, Night Ranger, something like that. So if you're on the Facebook page, you'll see that's where it was posted. If not, you need to go to Facebook, Fans in Motion, Night Ranger Tribute, click join, and that's where you'll get all this up-to-date information, because I sure as hell can't remember it. So
well. And speaking of the page, Josh, I mean, our numbers are up a little. We're at, 2,200 now?
22, 20,
something like that?
2250, something like that, yeah. So, yeah, if you go to the page, click that blue invite button, and it sends you to a list of all your friends, and you can go there and just hit, send them invites to the page. And so if you like what we're doing and you think there's other Night Ranger fans out there, or you just,
you just like us.
Just say, hey, I don't know if you like Night Ranger, but
look at these guys.
There's this Yahoo named Andy Parker. And so, just go there. And
that's why they're watching, Josh.
Yeah.
That's
why
what
they're
Brent
watching.
says. I doubt that. Okay. Let's move on to something that it's actually got some knowledge to it. Anybody got anything new? Anything new Night Ranger related? I see Brent, your little... I know it's not new, but you got your little stand-up in the back.
Right here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be
I
like you
that.
guys. You always put something in the background, and I always have the TV set scrolling behind me, like I'm in a newsroom. So.
Yeah, but that's TV setup's pretty sweet.
I'll continue to do that.
And I
look better.
That's one thing I do not have, is that little stand-up thing.
Man, how many Hysteria cases you got left?
Yeah.
We'll be talking. I mean, I'll throw some bones your way, but
I'm perfectly fine without it.
I don't think you are. Limited edition.
So I do have this. I've seen it out there before. So you got, this is from Japan. It's Hard Rock 1985, and we'll let the Japanese fans decipher what all that means. And it's got the Hard Rock hype sticker. And it's a promo, and it's got Warner Pioneer Corporation, so you can see where it's got different labels that includes MCA. And so this was a Japanese promotional record that came out in 1985. Side 1, it's got the first 3 tracks are Rat, Lay It Down, You're in Love, Round and Round.
Nice.
The next 2 songs are Motley Crue, Smoking in the Boys' Room, and City Boy Blues.
Ooh.
And the next 2 songs are Twisted Sister, I'll Never Grow Up Now, and We're Not Going to Take It. Side 2 is AC/DC is the first 2 songs, Danger and Fly on the Wall. And then there's 1 track from Dokken, Alone Again. And then Night Ranger rounds it out with 3 tracks, Sentimental Street, 7 Wishes, and Sister Christian.
Nice. I'll take all of them.
So, just a promo record. It's out there. It's usually high priced, which is why I never got it. But I did find this for $20 or so. So then it cost me an arm and a leg. A lot of times it's like $100
So was this something, Josh, that a radio station would get, or is this something a fan would just pick up because they wanted a sample of American rock music?
This is not for sale. Right here it says promotional copy, not for sale, Warner Pioneer Corporation. So this is probably something that they would, I would say, probably sent to record stores in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay. So just a sample for them, somebody to play in.
Well, Japan always does a lot of things where if you buy something, you get something for free. It's an enticement. It's an incentive. So you usually do it for that band.
Well, Brent, you worked in a record store. You never got stuff like that. You would get. I mean, you guys just played albums. You didn't have like compilations, did you?
Every now and then, like the Eagles, when they got back together, I wasn't working there, but we would get compilations if somebody was going on tour.
Okay.
That was in the era of the CD mostly. They would do a compilation of the greatest hits. I mean, ZZ Top had them. Like I said, I have an Eagles one upstairs. There's a Kiss one out there.
It just seems like the Japanese get cooler stuff than we do.
You know, I mean, Polygram did a couple things, or not Polygram. Casablanca used to do that for Kiss all the time. They would send a radio sampler out, especially during Rock and Roll Over and Destroyer. The solo, Taste of Platinum, Best of the Solos they would do, you know.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I mean, it existed in America, but probably not as much in Japan. Japan's fantastic when it comes to that.
Yeah, they do really cool stuff. That's pretty cool, Jay Osh.
It is.
All right. How about the Fans in Motion page? Do we have any news, anything you want to talk about?
I do. We have a new sponsor this week.
Do we have a sponsor?
If you're slamming down a drink or two, come on down to Johnny's Little Seaside Inn. They have dollar drafts every Wednesday and Thursday between 5 and 8. See that, Josh?
It's nice.
They even have an advertisement. That's pretty sweet.
Is that a Fans in Motion beer mug?
That is Fans in Motion beer glasses right there.
How hip are they?
I'll tell you what, they love us. So anyway, Johnny's Little Seaside Inn.
You get a lager drink?
You can get anything you like.
And a whiskey drink?
Ooh, you could. Oh, God, shut up, Tub Thumper. Anyway, Fans in Motion pages. It's been real fun, especially this week. Rob Tipton posted a video of them playing Don't Tell Me You Love Me with the legendary George Lynch.
I watched this recently.
You know, and I had seen it before, and I had made the comment I would have loved to hear that band when Watson left, to hear what it would have sounded like if not George being George. I mean, with he can have his own style, but not trying to overshadow Brad. Someone towing the company line like Vivian Campbell does with Def Leppard. I would have loved to hear what those two would have came up with.
Yeah. His solo in that song was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, he stayed. You could kind of hear him kind of trying to stay with the melody and the timing and all that. But I mean, I think it was on fire. You had Brad, Joel, and Lynch setting the stage on fire. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and somebody said it never would have worked. He had his own style. But I'm like, that's what they said about Vivian Campbell. Vivian Campbell's still in Def Leppard, you know. But no, I don't think George isn't the easiest guy to get along with, from what I understand.
Sure.
You know, in a bad atmosphere. And then we have Night Dwanger, Dwayne Vickers, posted one horrible looking Damn Yankees shirt. He posted two, but the artwork on that one with Ted has got a half zebra body. And I'm focusing in. I mean, it was great to see, but God, it didn't look like Jack. It didn't look like Michael. It looked kind of like Tommy.
Yeah.
I don't know where they pulled that art from.
Yeah, some of them shirts were not great, but
hopefully it's not family members or anything, you know. But yeah, they I mean, I thought Jack was a new guy in the band when I saw it. But I thought it was cool of Night Dwanger sharing those classic Damn Yankee shirts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So then we got our buddy, our friend Emily Medler posted a Jack and Jeff video from Japan. And it was cool seeing one of those. What was that, from 1985? I think it was, Josh. The video from Japan with Jack and Jeff.
I didn't watch it.
Okay.
So I don't know. But yeah,
you have anything to add about those videos?
Well, you posted the guest VJ from 1985.
Yeah.
Which we have been looking for forever, and I've talked about it. Like, I had watched it so many times. I knew stuff in my head, and I know I described scenes to you guys and everything. But so that 1985 guest VJ where they were promoting Seven Wishes was finally put on YouTube, and it's just crazy watching it because every little mannerism that they did, like I still knew, like when they talk about Kiss, and I think Kelly pulls his hair back and does that, and so all that, and a lot of people were like, that's the first time I've ever heard Fitz talk,
Yeah.
So it's that was neat. And then whoever posted that must have found a VHS tape that had a whole bunch of Night Ranger on it, because everything else, like Emily Medler posted, and I posted the the Wild and Innocent Youth where they're going to go to the Soviet Union and everything.
Right.
All those were posted by the same individual. So someone found, and that's how usually stuff works, is someone finds a tape and takes the effort and puts it on there, and then after us not seeing it for decades, it magically appears one day. So yeah, if you get a chance, go find that 1985 guest VJ with the whole band. It's fantastic.
The one part that I've forgotten about, because I'd seen that, like I said, I have it on beta somewhere. I had forgotten about the ZZ Top gag with the Santa Claus beers, and Jack just kept going, "Have mercy."
Yeah.
And I was laughing out loud. I had forgotten. That's the one part I'd forgotten about. That's that's the little segment. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And Fitz, after eating some Italian, a little Hooters sounds good.
God, that's all. It's so funny. I mean, Jack and the Aladdin lamp, and he's kind of waving the smoke around,
talking about Kiss. Those boots smelled.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So,
it was great because when I was on YouTube that night, I was looking at something totally unrelated to Night Ranger. And when you look at, if you're on your computer screen, you got a cue to the right of things you might like. I saw guest VJ, and I went, "Holy shit!" I thought Josh is going to shit his pants.
Yeah,
the
only thing out there was just the promo.
Yeah.
Before that, and you got anything else for the Fans of Motion page?
I have two more things. We have Gail Romaine posted all of her CDs. She was a contest winner of your Don't Let Up, and she went ahead and passed it along since she owned it already. Thought it was cool seeing all those CDs spread out.
Yeah, I agree.
It shows people are still buying the physical copies, and that's great. And last but not least, our good buddy John Haynes. He posted a couple things in the past week and a half. I loved his key fob with his Night Ranger keychain that they gave him, and I posted about his Panic and Jane button that he had on his key fob. I thought that was kind of funny. And then I think it was just today he posted all these fantastic sound check pictures.
Right, I was looking at I loved the one from the view from behind Kelly's kit, looking at the empty arena.
Yeah, beautiful. John just that guy's a gift that keeps on giving. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
he's great.
And we got some more. John sent me some stuff the other day. We'll bring it on some future episodes. Some giveaway stuff. But one thing, I don't know if you guys saw, Jerry Beach posted some stills from the You Can When You Close Your Eyes.
Yeah.
And he said his daughter was doing remote schooling, and they were watching that in the music class that afternoon. So somewhere, Night Ranger was being discussed in a music class out there. And I think you guys brought up the other couple things I was going to talk about. So good stuff on the page. If you're listening and you don't know where it's at, just go to if you're listening to us on YouTube, the link to the Facebook page is in the the bio of the video.
Mm-hmm.
But just go to Facebook, go up to the search, and just type in Fans in Motion Night Ranger, and it should take you right to the group. And click join, and unless you're Brent's mom, we will let you join.
No, nobody's my mom.
Huh?
Nobody else can be like my mother.
Well, your mom was a member at one time till you kicked her to the curb.
I'm going to tell you a story about her real quick. I'm sorry. unrelated to this, but behind me, I got 2 new couches delivered yesterday. And back when I was a teen, Andy knows the story quite well. She had a fit. Nobody was allowed to sit on her white couch with blue jeans. And she bitched me and all of us out, made us get off the couch because we had our blue jeans on. You're going to ruin my couch, blah, 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 blah. So yesterday, Christina's couch comes, the guys leave. She sits her ass down in blue jeans. So I pick up the phone, call my mom, put her on speaker. My mom, I just got 2 new like white cream couches, and Christina's sitting on the couch with blue jeans. Oh my God, it was 1988 all over again. You tell her it's gonna ruin that. Bah, 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 bah. You had to hear it. It's worse than hearing Edith Bunker shrill.
She thought the blue denim color was gonna run onto her.
Your cousin Chris ruined your Aunt Sharon's couch that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, Aunt Sharon was pissed. So
anyway, yeah. And by the way, and when the delivery guys came in, the guy went, "Fans in motion."
See? Did he ask for me?
Psych.
Yep. Number 1 Night Ranger podcast. So
anyway, sorry about that. I had to let you all know that.
We got a couple contests we're going to do. So with this being Tom Shannon, and Tom Shannon is more centered around the KISS world. If you leave a comment, I want you to leave a comment on the YouTube page, just telling us something you learned, something you liked, something from watching that video and you got out of it. I'll automatically enter you into a drawing on one of the future episodes for a KISS End of the Road guitar pick from Tommy Thayer.
Where'd you get that from?
I'm friends with the Space Ace, or the Spaceman, Tommy Thayer, and he's like, "Hey, would you like this for the show?" And I was like, "Sure." He's like, "You want me to send you 2 so you can give one to that other Yahoo that's on the show?" And I was like, "Andy?" And I was like, "No, he's good. Just send me 1."
I will tell you, when he first joined KISS and his guitar picks were selling for like $100 on eBay, I wrote to him, and I swear to God, he sent me a guitar pick.
Well, there you go.
Sweet as could be.
Yeah.
Sweet guy.
That's why a lot of people look at him as, the number 1 spaceman in the KISS history books.
You're just trying to stir it up, Josh.
So,
true story.
So I got some tickets here. We had Tristan Avakian on a few weeks ago. Tristan Avakian played with KISS, played with Night Ranger, on and off for a few shows during the winter months in 2010, 2011, into early 2012. He sent us a CD to give away, autographed. And if you guys have listened to the previous episodes, which I'm sure you have, I enjoy this CD a lot. It's just good music, something to just sit back, drink a beer to, and like I said, it's not like heavy metal. It's like dark acoustic rock. So, anyways, I put on one of the episodes, if you left a comment, kind of like with the KISS guitar pick, if you left a comment on the Tristan Avakian, I would put you into a contest. So I got the tickets in this little mug. I'm going to just reach in, pull one out, and we have, hey, look at that.
Tom Chapin.
So there's the mug, and you'll see me pour out the rest of them.
Rigged.
So,
congrats, Tom Chapin.
So, Thomas.
He's all right for a Steelers fan,
Yeah.
Well, shit. That disqualifies him. So let's enter in someone else.
Anybody who's not a Steelers fan is eligible.
Yeah, you notice it's a
prices.
Bengals cup, and a Steelers fan comes leaking out of there.
Well, Brent, you got your Bengals hat on too.
Yeah.
So Tom, there you go. Get a hold of me, and I will put that in the mail for you. Most of these contests, continental U.S., man. I can't. I'm not sending stuff to Venezuela and
France or London.
France, Japan. I wish I could,
Canada.
but that's not in my Not
the budget
what
for our show.
Well, yeah, not what I'm going to do. So, so there you go.
It's expensive.
But yep. So sit back, relax, get your Kiss records out, your Night Ranger records out, and learn a little bit about the record business. Andy,
make sure you get out there and check Tom's stuff out. His Rockologist.
The Rockologist.com.
Yeah, the dude's fantastic. And if you're a fan and you're a collector and you're into vinyl and if you should be into Kiss. If you're not, let's get your mind straight and get into Kiss.
You know, I want to add to that real quick. What he does on a lot of these releases too, if he releases 250 records, inside those 250 records will be usually a poster, and out of those 250, there might be 20 that are signed. You know, it's like opening a Cracker Jack box. You just don't know if you're going to get the signed one or not.
Yeah.
So.
And the labor-intensive shrink wrapping that he has to do.
Yes.
All right.
If you watch the episode, you'll get that.
So sit back, relax, watch some Tom Shannon. Here we go. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Fans in Motion, and today we have the one and only vinyl expert, Mr. Tom Shannon from the Rockologist, here to talk to us about all our vinyl questions about licensing. So everyone, give a big welcome to Mr. Tom Shannon.
How you guys doing?
We're not worthy.
Now, to us vinyl collectors, Tom Shannon is like kind of on our Mount Rushmore. All you fans out there that listen to our podcast and where we talk about Night Ranger vinyl, and you're asking me all these questions, a lot of my foundation of knowledge of looking at the different labels and pressings and all that stuff came from watching podcasts that Tom was on where he was talking about Kiss records. So this is basically I would say my influence from getting all that information. So Tom, tell us a little bit, you're part of an organization called the Rockologist. What is the Rockologist?
All right. Well, the Rockologist is an ever-changing thing. It's it was a concept I came up with probably about 4 years ago originally, and I'm completely not going this way now. It originally all was set up as a background for a TV show. It's a TV show concept I had, and I thought, I need some credibility if I'm going to do this, and so I thought, okay, I'd already had done some Kiss price guides back in early 2000, and so I kind of had a feel for that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I decided at that point also that I was deep into the research for this 3-volume set of books. I think Brent's got a set there, the Kiss My Wax, the Kiss LP Bible, and that basically covers 1,800 variants worldwide for Kiss. Doesn't have everything, obviously. There's going to be an update coming soon. But anyway, so that all that again I was doing is prep for some credibility. You got to have some credibility if or else nobody's going to take you seriously. And so anyway, I don't remember the exact moment it hit me, but I had been introduced to Bruce Kulick through Michael Edwards, a guy that frequented on some Kiss forums and stuff.
Now, Bruce Kulick, for Night Ranger fans that don't know, is Bruce Kulick was the guitarist from 1984 up to 1995 with Kiss, played on a lot of the non-makeup albums, Asylum, some Animalized, but Asylum and Crazy Nights, Revenge. So Bruce Kulick being guitarist for Kiss.
And currently lead guitarist for Grand Funk Railroad. Yep. Has been for 18 years, more than that probably.
Mm-hmm. Probably, yeah.
But anyway, so we had been introduced, and that was really the only I'm just going to be blunt, only person that I had any kind of contact with that was in the entertainment industry. in a direct way like that. And we had been introduced previously for some research on my second Kiss price guide I'd done. But anyway, I knew that Bruce had pressed his his BK3 record, and that he was selling them on his site and stuff, and and I kind of looked at what he was selling them for and stuff, and so I thought up just a basic concept of what I wanted to do. And really, I was trying to do it to promote the Facebook group that I was in at the time as much as anything, because other than what the Rockologist did in fan groups, which is basically what we are. I mean, I believe there's only been one other authorized Kiss-related release, and it was directly a Kiss release in England. I can't remember the title of it. It's got a saw blade on it, but anyway, so it's just really, that would be a prestigious thing if he'd let me do anything with these records. And so I just asked him, and we went through the process of learning each other. That's what so much of this kind of stuff is. It's building relationships, and he was intrigued by it, and I told him what my concept was I'm trying to create I'm trying to get rid of the void between the artists and their fans. Okay. I mean, I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. Okay. I hear people talking all the time about that. Oh, I got Kiss's autographs all the time. All you had to do is just hang out. No, they're not hanging out in Lexington, Kentucky. That's not happening. And that's the majority of the fans. The majority of the fans will never be able to meet Bruce. He's very accessible, but everybody can't get there. And so, one of the things that I knew I needed to do on that was, one, authenticate these things, from one end to the other, so there's no doubting that these things were legit. Unfortunately for Bruce on that first one, that meant he signed all the certificates on it. Okay. Yeah. And I decided after that I wasn't going to do it. I think that's just too much to ask somebody. Plus, Bruce, anyway, it would just get prohibitive. So that was a change there. But anyway, Bruce was a trooper about it. He did them, and like I say, I put them up on sale. The way we ended up having to do it was because I had no website or anything. I was just doing this within the Facebook group. And so I basically put a posting up, told everybody the posting would come up. They need to read the instructions, and at the bottom of it was an email address I created and then threw away later. And I told them, I said, whatever order they come in, that's the way that they're going to go. And, didn't really know what was going to happen with them. And we could have sold 300 of them. Wow. And so, yeah, I was really happy with that, and so was Bruce. And so, of course, then comes the fun part of the record business. Remember, it's record business. So now I got to process all these records, and by I mean me. Ain't nobody else doing this. At the time, I was in Columbus. So I was working during the week in Columbus, and then back home on the weekend. So, I'm just home on the weekend. So it was really important that things worked out timing wise, And so I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there trying to get these things all together. And of course, I bought all the equipment I need. I have a shrink wrap machine and all that, and I'm ready to be able to seal these up. And so I've got obies on these as well. That I'm sure everybody knows what obies are, the sashes. And so a funny thing happens when you do that with a real obie. They wrinkle up. I mean, they just wrinkle to hell. And so I'm sitting there going, oh man, what am I going to do here? It's Sunday morning. I'm supposed to be sealing these 100 records, and I got to get back to Columbus. And so now I'm sitting there thinking, well, I've just got to seal these somehow. They were bags is what I bought. They were, you can buy bags at Bags Unlimited, places like that, which is not very, that is cost prohibitive. But anyway, so I just knew I needed to get them sealed, man. And I'm sitting there going, how am I going to get these things sealed? And it took me about, 3 or 4 hours and finding different things. And I ended up with soldering irons. I ended up sealing those first records with soldering irons because I couldn't shrink them up, And so
across the edge.
Yeah. Just take it straight down the thing, man. And so managed to save the day on that. Now I got to pack all these records into a rented Dodge 300 and barely fit in there. Then I'm dragging them up into the room. Now I'm starting to work on. And of course, that's when I found out that, man, even though it was a very good year, that first year at the Rockologist, I basically was losing my job for 9 months of the year. Found out that day I started mailing these. So anyway, so that's always good for you as well, while you're trying to, make sure you got the right ones going to the right countries and all that, But anyway, survived it. I can't remember if anything got damaged in that first batch or not. If it did, I don't think anybody told me, because I know I didn't have any extras. I mean, that's a risk, man. That's a risk, and that was a risk that I didn't ever want to get into again. So that was the first lesson that I learned. So then I turned my attention to the books, working on those. That was something that I wanted to do with the Rockologist was, other people also write books and have difficulty getting them published, in fact, now, and I would have turned it down too if I was them. I did submit the last set of books to my previous publisher, never heard back from them. And, the only reason why I did is just as a formality, be easier for me if they would do it. But ultimately, it was better that I did it. Learned a ton of lessons. Mm-hmm. So again, and all this is kind of building up towards, when you guys are talking about this licensing thing. Yeah. So, my plan the whole time was to move up gradually. I've got to be able to know that first of all, if I'm going to make a bad mistake on a part of every product that I send out, I don't want that to be 1,000 of that product. I want it to be, less than 100. So I didn't lose my butt on it, and I did learn stuff like that. And that was still my goal as I moved on up, and I got a website, I did it myself. It doesn't look really good. That's the first thing. I have, I think we'll talk about it later, got an auction going on. That's one of the first places that money's going, is to a new website. Mm-hmm. But it was functional. It was functional, and it worked for the books. And man, I'm telling you, I'm trying to get my timing straight now. I should know this better than anybody else, but so the books had come out. Yeah. And then things started to get interesting because those books are very well put together. I'm no longer associated with the gentleman, but Joe Lalich did an outstanding job helping me with those books.
Yeah. And those books that he's talking about, when you listen to our episodes and we're talking about different labels for, if you pick up Midnight Madness, let's say, and there is different pressing plants. And if you look at the Dawn Patrol and we talk about Boardwalk and then MCA Records and the different pressings, this is basically what we talk about on steroids, because you could have in 1 year, let's say the first Kiss record in 1974, you could have 4 or 5 variations just released in 1974. So this book that he's talking about is very detailed. It's three separate books and very well put together. But I wanted to explain a little bit what that book is and just how much. And we think about Night Ranger when we talk about this. We're talking about 5 records, 5 studio records. Where, Kiss had 5 records in
2 years,
2 or 3 years, and things were, things were a little bit different from the 70s to the 80s, and definitely different with Casablanca than with MCA. So, just to give you guys a little bit of idea of what these books are. So, you release the books, and then kind of, where does that morph at after that?
Well, from that point, I mean, I do think that those books are the reason why I've got the opportunity to just move forward as much as the record did. You know, we were introduced to Ken Gulick, who's you know, with E1 Entertainment. Ken is a big Kiss fan too, and you know, if you look around the world, it's shocking to you the places Ken shows up. I think he's in even on Bruce's records, if I recall right. But anyway, we just you know, Jason Herndon over at Kiss My Wax had set up a call for the three of us to talk and about possibly trying to do something with the Rockologist and Ace. And, you know, we had the conversation. I remember it was before Christmas at some point, but in 17. But, you know, I remember I told him, I said, you know, if you don't mind, I'll send you a copy of the books. I said, you know, that'll give you an idea of the quality of what we do. And so, you know, we did that. And, you know, Ken just super, super nice about everything and supportive. He allowed us on Ace's Origins. Volume 1, which had been a previous release, you know, but he allowed us to redesign the cover, to have our own custom vinyl, allowed us to put our hype stickers on the covers. Yep. I mean, just totally ran it, gave us our own code number. I mean, everything I would geek out about, he offered up in the first place, you know, and so. He took care, like I basically at that point just had to pay for the final product.
All right.
You know, and so here's a new step now. I've just interacted. Now I've gone from purchasing the already produced merchandise to I'm paying for it. I know what this stuff costs now and this and that and all that. I've learned all these lessons and Tom, here's how much you have to pay per record, and that covers royalties and all that stuff. So now I've got a good pre-package. I'm protected. Nobody gonna sue me about any of this,
well,
right?
Let me ask
and
you.
That's a lot of it.
Let me ask you this, Tom. So we're talking about the Origins Volume 1, and like you said, he lets you do an alternate cover and a own catalog code. So when you purchase this, so are you really licensing that, or you're purchasing an X amount of stock?
I'm purchasing an X amount of stock in that case. Yes, that is not a licensed deal. You know.
All right.
Yeah. No,
so then does the Rockologist, you know, hype sticker and certificate and Obi strip, does that come later in your process?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because what's going to go on, like on a typical, well, let's just talk about the Ace one. So, you know, they were going to let me do however many I wanted, okay? But I told them I only wanted to do 500. And I told them, I said, it's not that I'm concerned about selling them. I said, this is my first, you know, pressed specially for the Rockologist thing. I said, this is my only chance for my first time to set my brand. And I said, I would like to have 500. And I'll just be blunt about it. I didn't want to meet what I thought the market was going to demand. Okay. I mean, there was a function for that, and it served well. You know, people know now if they buy one of my records, it's going to be worth more than what I sold it to them for. Yeah. I mean, like as soon as they're done selling, and we're never going to do 1 million. You know, as soon as they're done selling, they sell for more than what you paid for. In fact, that's how I really set myself on that first Bruce Kulick. I wish I forgot about that. So, you know, why should anybody buy this from me? You know, I mean, they don't know. This might be junk. And so I started thinking about how could I make something, how could I give people confidence where they don't have any confidence? Okay. Because there was zero reason for anybody to have confidence in me on that record. Okay. That's an important concept to remember. I really, 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 really wanted to do that and really, really wanted it to be successful, but you had no reason to think it was going to be. Okay. Remember that when somebody's trying to sell you something. So anyway, and it dawned on me. So back in when the market crashed in 2008 and everything went to hell, all the auto dealers almost went out of business, except for Hyundai, who took off. And they took off because they decided to give a 100,000 mile warranty on their car. So you didn't have to worry about anything. And so people took it. So I did that with that record. There in that record, if you got a sealed one, there's a certificate in there. And it says, and I don't remember the dates, but it's passed. I wish somebody would have tried to take me up on it. But there was a defined date in there, about 6 months, about 2 years out, that if they wanted to sell it back to me at the price that they paid for it, I'd give it to them. Just had to be sealed and all that stuff. And the only reason why I stretched it out because I didn't realize people wouldn't be able to buy multiples. I thought they would. And I didn't want somebody buying 20 of them and then return them.
Yeah.
So,
get into a cash crunch or something.
Yeah. But I haven't had to put that in since, I mean, it's, we deliver. So there it goes. So there we are with, so we've got the Origins pressed. We're ready to sell it. I've got the date picked out and the time. If y'all want to know, I'll tell you, because everybody else has taken it on me since. Saturdays at 5 p.m., the vast majority of the world is awake and not working. Okay, they're either getting ready to go to bed or they just got up, maybe, but the vast majority of the world is awake. And so that's why I always set my sales to start then. And so we put that on sale. And so I pressed 500, 250 of them we got Ace to sign. Now here's the way this and I'm not going to go deep into too much of this stuff, but like, so I always you'll hear me talk about risk all the time. Okay. There is no reward without risk, but there's plenty of risk without reward, So you got to keep your risk down. And so I'm sitting on 500 records that I've just paid for. Okay. And my intention is that Ace Frehley is going to sign 250 of them. All right. I can tell you that those 250 records did not get the seal taken off of them until they got ready to be signed, because I wasn't positive it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Number one, I had to arrange it, and then there's always stuff that can come up. You never know, and so you got to make sure everything's cool with that. So here we sit, and got all the stuff, and I'm going to have him sign the 250. I think if I remember right, and I based my pricing on the standard, on FYE's pricing, which everybody knows they're hiring the cats back, but that's just the way it is. And I had only 250. Okay, so I mean, I think they had 500 or something when they had it, and so put them on sale for 45 each. I believe I put the autograph ones up for 95. They all had posters in them. 10% of the posters were signed by Ace. All my stuff comes with a numbered hologram on the jacket, a matching one on the certificate, and I sold that for $95. Because again, I want people to be able to have something that they feel like it was worthwhile, an investment. And so we put it up for sale, and the autograph ones were gone in less than a minute.
Yeah.
And I think it took 3 minutes to get rid of the standards. So, obviously we were pretty ecstatic about that.
Yeah, I bought mine.
I got stuck with the standard.
Well, here is, and I opened mine. I don't care if they're, sealed or not. I like to enjoy them and everything.
Yeah.
But I bought yours. I was at Tony Paco's in Toledo, Ohio, eating Polish hot dogs. And, I'm like, all right, stop, and at 5 o'clock I got on. Yeah. So if I can get a copy of, the Rockologist at Tony Paco's eating Polish hot dogs, there's no excuse. But that's where I was when I bought that copy. So how was it? Here you are, you're a Kiss fan, probably a Kiss fan since a young age, a young Tom Shannon, a little bit less gray, same accent, 1976, I reckon. And now in 2018, you are doing an album with Ace Frehley. Just talk to me a little bit, just how, was it, just how you felt? Holy shit, Ace is autographing something that I'm putting together. And was it, And one thing I've always discovered is meeting your idols or people that you admire, it either goes one of two ways. It's either that was great or that might not have been exactly how I wish it would have went. Which one was it with Ace? I mean, how did that go? And was it just something really neat that you were able to enjoy?
Yeah, of course it was a neat thing to enjoy. So yeah, man. I mean, I still, I'm another project we'll talk about here. And look, yeah, sometimes I talk to people and I tell my wife what's going on here. How am I even talking to these people?
Yeah, we got those moments.
And and I don't think I'll ever lose that really. But then again, there's different. I mean, some people I'm really good friend. Bruce Kulick is a really good friend of mine, or I feel comfortable saying that. Sure. I think he would say the same thing. And but there are some artists that I've dealt with that it's a business, and that's okay. Nothing matter with that. And I'm saying that because so I realized. Did y'all ever hear of the birthday bash for Ace? I'm sure you have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about like 2001, something like that, right around there?
Yep. Yeah, and I'm gonna talk about an aspect of not probably what you guys are thinking, and be more in line for y'all's fans that are watching this anyway. So they had a way to meet Ace, and it's his birthday, and you're gonna get something signed, this and that, and so I started looking at it, and I'm looking at, I don't remember the number now, but however many people it was going to be. Basically, it looked like you were going to get like 90 seconds in front of Ace. And I'm like, well, I'm not driving New York for that. And then I'm thinking, man, there are going to be some people just crushed by that, because they're going to want to step up and tell him what an impact he made on their life and all that. And I'm like, man, you just can't really, you can't. I don't think and I had met nobody at that point, nobody, but I decided, you can't, empty your soul to somebody you don't know, that's not fair. And so I, at that point I decided, okay, I'm not ever going to get carried away around somebody, something else that I don't do. And I'm just telling you, I just don't do it. I don't wear Kiss shirts around Kiss people or at Kiss things. I wear Kiss shirts. I got tons of Kiss shirts, but I don't wear them. I don't wear them when I'm going to meet somebody, that's related to the band, because I'm not there as a fan. I'm there to, to represent my company and to bring something to them. So, so I'm just telling you that because it was very hectic. Okay. Scene was very hectic. Like I say, we had people, I was one of them that we were opening the record, the records and throwing the seal on the ground. Unbelievable how slippery a big mound of shrink is. It's unbelievable, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I had to constantly be over and clean it up because everybody's falling. And so, the signing itself went very smooth. Ace is a pro. I mean, at signatures. Keith LaRue was sitting there. He was helping us. He was just Keith LaRue for people aren't aware. He's a Kiss webmaster, and I'm speaking to your audience. You guys know that your audience.
Yeah.
So Keith,
we have some Kiss fans in our audience.
All right. Well, he's Kiss Online's webmaster, and he assists them with stuff. And it was his convention, so he's laying them down. Ace to sign them, and things are going good. And then there was a concern about the number of items that was being signed, so we took care of that issue. And you wouldn't ever want to go into a situation like that and think that you're going to be, over there, arms around each other and all that stuff. He's very nice, very congenial about things, but I mean, it's
business.
It's business, and let's be honest, it's kind of, I'm sure, most people look on it as a hindrance. It's not something they enjoy doing. I mean, but anyway, bottom line is the records were all signed great, and everybody had a great time. We had a great enough relationship with it that I ended up doing a Bronx Boy variant with them. got a ton of signatures with that stuff, and so we've got that relationship. Yeah. And I will say that Ken Gulick is he paid a lot of attention, man. They do a lot of great stuff with Ace's stuff now. And I feel proud because I think some of it is influenced by what we did.
Definitely.
Oh, I definitely know it's been influenced by you.
For those that don't know, his last album, well, not the last album, but his last studio album, how many different variations? 7, 8?
Something
there were
like
6
that.
Space Invaders, or not Space Invader,
the guy,
Spaceman.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney kills him. The last I quit counting, he was up to 21 different versions of his latest album. 21.
Wow. Vinyl colors?
Well, two were CDs.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
different vinyl. Yeah.
Because I remember back in the 80s when the Police released Synchronicity, and they had cover variations of different pictures on all the different covers.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah, I would say you definitely influenced at least the Ace Frehley market with because I think there's a little bit of Tom Shannon there and a little bit of Gene Simmons. Because
it's good stuff, man.
It's fun. It's fun for collectors for sure.
Yeah. Nobody has to have it all.
And a side note, I was on Target.com over the weekend. You can still get that silver and black Target vinyl on there now.
Oh, can you now?
Yeah, it's in stock, and I thought, and they had a deal where you could buy buy 2 and get 1 free.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, and I thought, but I thought,
So
I got so many of those things extra.
So Tom, you hit this high point where you're doing an album with an original Kiss member. You are directly dealing with him with the signed posters. Where do you aim next? Where do you go from there?
Well, it really didn't have a direction at that point. Bruce came back out with BK3 on red vinyl, so we did that. Had a lot of fun doing that, and then we started talking. He started talking to me about Eric Carr's album, Rockology, and he was talking about how it had never had a vinyl release, and what did I think about that, and so at that point, of course, I was very interested.
Mm-hmm.
And but I told him, I said, I don't know anybody in the family, but of course Bruce obviously knows them.
Yeah.
And so he set me up with Eric's sister Loretta, and she is just I count her as a good friend as well. She just really cares about her brother's his
legacy.
I don't want to say his memory. I won't say his his whole era and stuff, just to keep him alive with stuff, and and so we got to looking at possibly doing it, and I was just really interested in doing it. But of course, here's a quandary for me. This is everything that I've done has been to connect the artist to the fan, and that's obvious. I'll always with an autograph, and that's not happening. And so got to kind of think about it and get a little creative, And so as we talked about it, more we're talking, and so I'm thinking, well, how many of these should I even order? I don't even know, And so I got to looking at it, and finally I ended up deciding to do 500 as a standard, which would mean just a sealed record, which. Frankly, it ended up looking way better than the deluxe. I'm a little sorry to say. It's a bright orange. The deluxe is orange and black. It's supposed to have mixtures of its colors and stuff, and so it's a little bit of a darker color. But anyway, so to make a connection to the fans, to the artist. I started thinking, well, how about if I did some kind of a card on these things and had like a swatch of material, from a piece of clothing or something, and a drumstick slice, you know, and I'm sitting there going through my head as I'm saying that, and I'm going, yeah, I can slice a drumstick. That's not a problem. And so anyway, Loretta and I, we finally come to, you know, really quickly an agreement. And so as you guys point out over my shoulder here, and I'm not going to move the camera too much.
Yeah.
That shirt is Eric wore that to the MTV Awards. That was his last public appearance. Man. And so, you know, I purchased that shirt from her, and I cut a large piece out of the back, although it displays really nice for me now. And I also got a practice stick that he had used, you know, with Kiss from Loretta. And so, you know, I set about doing the stuff, you know, and you know, at that point, it's like if you call the record company today, you know, you'll have product in 12 weeks, you know, it'll be at your door. And so, you know, I'm working on that. I've got a long time frame. So I'm going to do these cards, you know, and so I'm working really closely with Michael Edwards again. You know, he's done all the graphics, you know, after the Ace Frehley stuff. And so, you know, he's designing the cards. We get them, and so I'm going through it in my head, and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm gonna take 2 cards, and then I'm gonna die cut one of them, and then I'm gonna put that you know, material swatch in there, glue it in there, glue them together. Easy deal, no big deal, and it worked perfect, man. You know, of course, I had to find a way to punch these, and now, mind you, Tom is now going to have to punch thousands of punches by hand. And not a good idea, but anyway, and so then I'm onto the drumstick. Now, you know, I my background is in I was a plumber, but just basic mechanical. Okay, I solve problems. Okay, if I visualize something, I know I can do it. Okay, man, I'm telling you, I bought sticks because, of course, I'm not practicing on that one. And man, I'm just gouging these things all over the place, and they're too thick, and it's everything else, and I'm not going to tell you what I ended up finding because, quite frankly, you know, that's part of what I do is these sticks. But yeah, I finally figured that out like 3 days before I shipped them.
Really?
I did figure it out, and it worked perfectly, man. And I was so worried before then because I was cutting them by hand. I'll say that I had jeweler saws and stuff, and you just can't get them thin enough, and you can't get them straight enough, and you know, you
need to get one. You should have went to the deli and got one of those meat slicers, you know.
Well, you know,
with a diamond blade on it.
Ultimately, I did something similar to that, but not nearly as, you know, not as straightforward as that. But anyway,
did you have to license? Was that a licensing agreement with Loretta?
Here's the beauty of everything up to that point. Okay, we just talk about it. You know, because it's Bruce and me. Yeah. I mean, at one point, you know, I think he said something about doing a memorandum of understanding on our very first one, and we just never got around to it, you know. And then once, I mean, if you guys notice when somebody works with me, they'll come back because, you know, we have a good relationship. Yeah. So no,
forgot about that too.
Oh yeah. That's that's in the deluxes there.
The bundle.
So no licensing on that. So that's the new part that I'm learning on stuff that I'm doing now. But you know, no, we got along very well, and that's like, you know, so you know, one of the things again, Risk. Okay, they released that CD before, and it had makeup art on it and other stuff. No makeup. You're not going to, for a long time, you ain't going to see no makeup on nothing I do. It's just not going to happen. Okay. And so I told her, I said, well, hey, I'll tell you what I said. I said, I know an artist. The guy's name's Chris Hoffman. He's in my groups. And I said he did a John Lennon head that was unbelievable. I said, I'm going to ask him if he thinks he could do something with Eric similar. You know, not the same, but that style. And of course, Chris was just super, super excited to get the chance to do it. Awesome artist, just an awesome artist. And so we did a brand new artwork. So I don't, it's here somewhere. I've got it sitting here, and they get back on the wall. I've got the original painting of that.
Yeah.
And
Oh wow.
yeah, and so I own that, but like I tell Loretta, just use it,
Yeah.
So she puts that on a lot of different stuff. That's what I try to do. I try to help funnel some revenue to people,
Mm-hmm.
that deserve it.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, why would I want to charge her for that?
Right.
Yeah, it was
It
definitely very well done. I mean, definitely keeping his legacy alive, and it kind of mirrored the '78, solo albums in a thin way. It has his own color, the orange. The hype sticker is great. And you do honor the makeup era with the fox pendant. So, definitely, and I think it would be great, obviously, if there was the demand and we could get Night Ranger stuff like that. But just the attention to detail and just the quality of the work, I think really, to me, hit the high point with that album, and it was just great seeing. And I agree with you on the $25, I think, colored vinyl. I mean, for $25, that's what I also liked is, not everybody can afford the $100 deluxe version with the drumsticks and the shirts and the previous ones that were autographed. But for $25, you could still get the great hype sticker, and you got, the custom label and hype sticker, or a custom label and colored vinyl. So, it's up to that. You really had a good brand and model, and especially if if you see that and you got the books, you're going to make a name for yourself. Ace is getting paid, so Ace likes you. It's all good. So you do that album with Eric Carr, or with Eric Carr's sister. When you're doing that, do you have a picture in your mind of what you want to do next, or is it just finish this project and then I'll go from there? Did you have a big game plan of what your next step was?
Well, specifically, no, but it's always been the same. For me, I don't care what I'm doing, because I have to learn something every time. Okay. I didn't know how to do any of this. So it's just always start small and start expanding. And if I'm enjoying it, then keep doing it, and so no, not a direct plan. Now, obviously everything I do is Kiss centric. That's because that's where my customers are right now. That's who I have the access to, the people that'll support this. That's like, you got how many, 2,000 something in your group?
Yep, 2,200 almost.
You guys would actually be able to support projects like that. I know you don't think you could, but you could. Because there is a passionate fan base in there, especially if they start seeing that things are becoming collectible for whatever reason. And you guys are laying the foundation for that by putting all these different variants out there. So now, I don't have a direct plan. It's and in fact, I retired. From this kind of stuff back in the spring. Because things just got too difficult. I was going to do the Rockology picture disc, but once things shut down, number one, I wanted to let Bruce do whatever he wanted to do with that. I didn't need the funds from that. So I bowed out of that, and things were starting to get really crazy with the shipping right at the tail end of the Rockology's shipments for me. And that's, and here I am now, I'm getting what, I'm to the point I'm getting 3 orders a week. Now I got to pack that. I got to take that to, it just, I was sitting here, one weekend. It was probably the first weekend that they had everything shut completely down, and or maybe the second one. Anyway, I'm sitting there watching. I hope y'all don't mind long-winded stories. Okay,
You're all right. You're all right.
So I'm sitting there watching. I just had gotten Netflix. My daughter just got me hooked on that. So I'm watching the Dream Team series that was on. Okay, and I'm sitting there watching that, and I'm really enjoying that, you know. And I'm a couple episodes into it, and I'm going, man, yeah. When was that? 92. Holy crap, man! That is 30 years ago. And I'm like, where'd the time go? You know, and I'm sitting there watching it, and you know, I don't know, something just hit me, and I started thinking about, you know, time's moving on. I haven't really ever thought like that. I don't feel old enough like that. Don't take that the wrong way, but it's just like that's half my life, you know.
Yeah.
And so it just gets you thinking. And then I started thinking, well, man. All right, so I've been sitting there talking about, you know, they're going to have to sell all this stuff one day, and I don't care. But I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm going, man, that's a burden. That's a burden. And I'm sitting there, I got all this crap. I need to sell it. And then I'm sitting there thinking, you know, I need some income coming in later on. You know, see, that's the one part about retirement planning they don't tell you.
Yeah.
You need a boatload of money. All right, so I didn't make a boatload of money when you know, most of my life. So anyway, I'm sitting there going, man, you know, it's time to go on. It's time to move on. I'm gonna sell this. I've got X number of dollars I know in all this, and I'm gonna buy real estate, and I'm gonna get me some revenue coming in. So I went ahead and I just kind of made the announcement on that, you know. Right before I did it, I went in and I zeroed out everything in my website. It's still open, but you know, there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to keep messing with that three packages a week for the next, you know, 6 months. And so, you know, I'm done with it. I mean, I'm complete, and I feel good about it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not doing it for a wrong reason or anything, you know. And then, you know, it's, you know, so I reached out to, I'll say their name because they're a really good outfit, Backstage Auctions. They were going to handle everything. And, you know, that is a long process. Number one, it's a process getting records ready. Okay. So I got like just under 800 Kiss LPs. Okay. And I never cleaned them as they came in for the most part, but I'm not going to send them out like that. So I had do you guys have the dishwasher thing, you know, the yellow machine?
Yep.
That you,
Yeah. Well, I actually asked, I asked you
and
about
I
it
do
one
too.
time.
I do too, and they're good. They're good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with those, but that's 4 strokes each way. That's 8 strokes for 800 records. No, thank you. So I had to buy a VPI machine, and I wish I'd have bought that a long time ago. That machine was $500 used. And it's perfect. It's perfect. So if you ever think about it, I would sell some of them cases of Kisteria you got and buy you one of those. So anyway, I took a week off. To start cleaning those. I got through 250 of them. Man. So anyway, that was going to be a process, and that's fine because I was committed to it and all that, you know. And plus, I gave myself 5 years to get my revenue stream rolling in all the way, and I wasn't starting that till January anyway. So no big deal, you know. And so that's just the way it's going to go. And so I'm sitting there. It was funny because I had a new employee who had Googled me, but he didn't catch what you thought he caught. What he ended up finding was a dome football stadium idea I had years ago.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, no, man, that's not the stuff. I said, you tell me what you find on me. And, you know, he next day, no, I didn't see anything. Okay. And I told him, I said, do Tom Shannon Kiss. So he does that. And he's starting talking to me about it and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I used to do all this stuff, work for Universal and Kiss and all that stuff. And, you know, but that's all over with. And I'll be damned, got a call that afternoon from a guy at Universal. he needed a I'm not going to say which one it is because still don't even know what it's for. He needed a 45 sleeve. And the way he's talking, I don't think they're even going to use it. I think somebody wanted it. Whatever. So I reached out to the guy and I got it for him, and I said, hey, I said, a couple crazy things going on. I said, or I got a crazy thing going on. I said, man, I got an appointment with a patent attorney, and it ended up being, and I thought it said it's for something for protecting records when it goes out. He starts laughing. He said, see, this is why I like working around you. He said, you're so passionate. He said, you've taken something you got a passion for. He said, you're creating an industry here. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. But anyway, so I had to talk to him again the following day. And so right before we got off the phone, I said, hey, do you remember you introduced me to the guys in the, I believe it was Special Projects division. And he goes, yeah. And I said, I guess the guy's left or something. I said, I got like one email from him. That was it. I said, can you hook me back up? He goes, yeah. Hook me up immediately, and that's it, man. So now I'm a licensed Universal Records distributor is how they say it. And what that allows me to do, and this is some crazy stuff, man. It's crazy. So I can submit any artist under the Universal umbrella in the United States. Okay. And so if I do that, and this was explained to me by the guy that never got back in touch with me again. But he did tell me one really super important thing. He said, if you throw something out there really good, understand they're going to take it from you. Mm-hmm. I said, you got it. So basically, if I come up with a crazy, series of Kiss box sets and they're just killer, and I submit that, they're going to say, thanks, Tom. And that's just the way it is, So I know I can't ask for that stuff. All right. But I want that stuff. So now I'm sitting here, what am I going to ask for? Now I can't tell y'all everything I asked for because here's another problem with this. I'll mention it, and there's not many people that can steal it, but there's a few people that can steal it. Yeah. And they're people that I know, so I can't share everything. So I submit. I thought, all right, they didn't tell me how many I could submit. I already know that there's different stages at which case they can kick me out. So I'm going to ask for 6 of them. So I asked for, the 2 Peter Criss releases. I asked for Peter Criss Out of Control and Peter Criss Let Me Rock You. I asked for another artist that I'm not going to say the name. I asked for 2 of those. And then I asked for another band I can't mention. And then for the 6th one, I thought, you know what? I'm going to swing for the fence because if I don't,
Sure.
So I asked, but I wasn't going to go the obvious way, because I know my guys watching me a little bit, and so I asked for Peter Frampton Comes Alive. I wanted to do Starburst discs like those Ace Frehley Origins, but do white in the center, fading out to black. Yeah. So it looked like the 2 lights on the cover, behind his head. And so I'll submit that. And so, I don't hear anything for about 3 weeks. And then the first email I get says, well, you can't have Peter Frampton. I said, well, that's all right. You weren't going to give it to me anyway. So, but I thought, you're not going to get it if you don't ask. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you don't ask for stuff in life, you're not going to get it. And so it probably was another couple of weeks. And the other artists that I had 2 titles from, they said, you have this. And so I started contacting other people that were on the record. Hey, man, I got a good opportunity here for you. And these people I know and I've worked with, got a great opportunity here for some signing stuff. Looks like a really good deal. And then I get an email the next day that said that the business office had killed that title. So If people knew who the artist was, they'd kind of understand it. So I'm sitting there with nothing at that point, and then they dropped the 2 Peter Criss titles in on me. They're mine. So, and they are completely mine. So here's why you have to build up gradually on stuff.
So before we get into that, Peter, for those that don't know, Peter Criss was the original drummer for Kiss, the Catman.
Yep, founding member.
Yep, and these are the 2 records that were immediately released on his departure in 1980. Let Me Rock You, that would be the second one. And Out of Control was the first one. I think, is it 81, 82, or is it 80, 81 when those were released?
This was released September 12th, 1980.
Okay, so...
is what the date is on this radio promo.
All right. So 80, 81. So those are the two of the albums that you put in request for, and they give you basically permission. So... what does that permission basically give you?
That gives me the right to pay them X dollars, of which they'll take the royalties and their part, and I get 100% of everything else, which is, making a slow process for me again on this one, but that's fine, So like I'm responsible for all the art. Now when I say that, I'm how do I want to put this? I have to use art from the U.S. release, but they don't have the art. Okay, so I got to come with the art, but that's fine because that's one of the strengths I have. Okay, number one, I have access to a huge scanner that'll handle a record jacket, and so they've already been disassembled and run through. I'm pretty sure Michael Edwards is probably going to do the fixing of those, but I can do them if I need to. That's one thing. I've got those kind of skills. So I'm responsible for that. I'm responsible for every bit of the pressing of the record. So I don't have my plant picked out yet. I've got to check a few more. But I'll be the one making that agreement and that license. I handle every bit of that. Basically, it's kind of like I described it the other day on another podcast. It's kind of like going to college, okay? And Universal is a professor. All they want's my money, and if I don't want to pay attention, if I don't want to take care of what I'm supposed to take care of, that's on me, and it'll be a failure. My license is for direct to consumer. That's something, again, there's a learning experience. I always want direct to consumer because I have all these Facebook groups, but I also would like to have been able to have wholesaled the record. I can do that the next time. I just need to ask differently on the application.
Tom, let me ask you this. So the licensing, when they say, yes, we will give you the license for Peter Criss, and I know that you're responsible once an item sells for whatever percentage of royalties that was agreed upon. Was there any money up front that you have to pay to them?
I don't know if I have a special deal. I really don't, and I don't mind telling you what it is. But I mean, I again, you have to look at who inserted me into the situation. I own the money 60 days after the release date, which you can't be any more fair than that.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, unfortunately, I'm not going to make my original release date, but I'll still make that. Well, it won't be a problem.
That money that you owe after 60 days, is it a set amount, or is it a set amount that you owe, or if you sell 500 copies, it's that percentage of royalties that you owe?
Oh, I've committed to them that I'm going to sell 2,400 records. So that's what I have to pay them.
So you have
me.
So you can sell them or not?
So, yeah. So in fact, so my license is for 3 years. Okay. And so if I have, like, number one, the license won't allow me to press a big bunch at the end of that period.
Okay. I was going to ask.
Yeah. But it also, whatever, there's some date out in the future, I'm not concerned about it. but there's a date out from it, like 6 months, that if I have any remaining inventory, I have to destroy it. That's one big difference here is I've got big boy accounting going on now. So, it's
all right. So now with the license, does it give you a very specific amount of copies you can create? Is that 2,400?
Yeah, actually it isn't listed in there. That's what I requested, but it's not in there. I mean,
is that per title, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in theory, if you wanted to print 5,000 copies, you could, but obviously there's the issues of having so much left over at the end. And
you got to pay the royalty.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the thing. That's all they want to know, that they're getting the proper royalty amount.
Yeah. So you.
But I will say there are other royalties besides just the recording royalties.
Mm-hmm.
There are other ones that got to pay as well, and that's part of it is finding out how to pay that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going through that process right now.
So
I want to make sure everybody gets paid.
So does Universal? So I guess when you get the license, you print up the albums. Depending on what you print, that's the percentage of royalty you owe, correct?
No, for the full deal. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's an amount that I guess they base it on 2,400. I don't know. I don't want to talk about the specifics.
But I guess you pay them a certain percentage, and then they divide it out to whoever is listed as songwriters or performers and stuff like that. You don't have to go through that.
They pay out for the performance royalty. I have like the songwriting and some other ones that I have to pick up, but that's just part of it.
All right, so you get these licenses. What is there anything that? So what you're always talking about learning new stuff with each project. So what have you learned? Obviously, you said something about what was it? The wholesale and the direct to consumer.
Yeah.
Anything else you've learned that was interesting or you never thought about?
Well, I mean, it's still it's still so early in the process. So here's something. So like I said before, when I did the Rockology, if you place the order today, you got product in 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the first plant that I talked to this time is what I'm talking to more. So I can get my test pressings in 6 weeks. Seems kind of long to me. And then it's 8 weeks to get a solid color. And by that, I mean it could be transparent, but nothing fancy. But splatter is another 16 weeks. That's
really?
half a year. That's half a year. So that's no good. So I got to look around and find out, number one, is that a normal thing right now? If so, Out of Control obviously will be in solid colors because I'm not waiting, 6 months to get a record out. But the timing would be okay for the other one. I could just order it now and have it go that way. So that was something that, not that it completely caught me unaware, but, I wasn't aware of what the time frame was. I would have adjusted my production dates, but everything's still good with that. Other than that, there's still, tons to learn between now and then. I will tell you, and I think they'd be fine with it. I've been speaking with Peter's wife, Gigi, quite a bit here over the last week. And I feel very confident. We've all got the same goals in mind. And, again, this is that learning process, learning each other.
Sure.
You can just imagine, what artists go through in their lifetime of people coming to them with, hey, this is the best deal for you. And I'm just, it just isn't that way, It's, like I tell them now, whatever the normal royalties are up front, they'll get that. But like I tell them, the artists do so much better on the back end of mine than they do on the front end.
Let me ask you this. So I I tell our listeners who are Night Ranger fans that if with these reissues, the Dawn Patrol and the Midnight Madness colored vinyl, I tell them that Night Ranger probably has either no control or very little control of what is released from those 5 classic era 80s albums, because they don't own the masters. Universal does, and some people are just amazed that Night Ranger doesn't control that stuff.
Yeah.
That it is, when you record an album, you are basically getting paid to, basically like put a car together, and then you give the finished car to the record company, and then they can do whatever they want with it. They own that car, even though the hoods may say Night Ranger on it. And I think people are amazed by that. So when you licensed these 2 records with Peter Criss, there was no, at that point, getting the license, there's no contact with Peter Criss. And there would be if you were dealing with Kiss or a bigger artist that still recorded or had ties with Universal. But at this point, Peter Criss hasn't had really any ties for probably 40 years with those records. And so my question is, or I guess you probably didn't have any, there was no, okay, we're going to give you this license, let us ask Peter first.
Oh, no. And in fact, there was, like I explained to Gigi, when I signed the contracts, I had no clue if I'd be in touch with them or not. It was tempting at the time, and we ultimately got hooked up. But that was a question, and would I not be releasing them if he didn't do anything with it? And no, I'll be releasing them. Like I told him, I have X number of dollars owed down the road here. So, that's how I figured my worst case scenario from the beginning of this was I'm going to be selling just sealed records, and that there's nothing the matter with that. I mean, a lot of people don't have these records. They're going to be glad to get them. But, like I say, it does look like, I think we all share a lot of values, on what myself and Gigi and Peter are wanting to try to accomplish. So I feel good about that. Now, but that's a tough part of it, man, is getting connected. Because I had pretty close connections there, and it was tough.
Brent?
Now, Tom, with 2,400 copies that you're licensed for, is it allowed? Are you allowed to do? Let's say you want to do 500 green.
Yes.
You want to do 500 orange.
Yes.
You could split that up any way you want it within that 2,400.
And that's what's going to happen.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Well, and to what Brent is saying, I understand like the colored vinyl. Is there any, when you in that licensing agreement, is there anything in there about getting the records autographed? Like you're adding on, like if you get it, with I guess comparing it to your previous Rockologist release, you have the record, but you added an Obi strip, an autograph. Your I would assume the hype sticker would be probably out, would be already accounted for. But are they okay or with you basically modifying what you're licensed with your own Obi strips and autographs, and then selling it on top of that?
Well, here's the thing of it. So what Peter will be signing will be open use records. I mean, that's what they are. So, there was part of that discussion as well, because, as far as would that be affected by royalties? No, it won't be. The best example I can give of it, and it's kind of crude and I don't necessarily like it, even though I came up with it myself. I'm kind of like Orange County choppers when people refer to them as cake decorators. Okay, they don't build anything; they assemble stuff. That's what I'm doing here. I'm assembling. I just happen to also be the guy that's distributing it. That just gives me a good deal on it. That's all that is. But like I can also, if I want to, I could sell them all to Peter Chris. Sell him 500 for $1, and then we can sign it. I mean, the thing of it is, I think, where a difference is, first of all, number one, everything I ever do is authorized. Okay, there's nothing ever that isn't authorized, by whoever the authorizing people are. I'm saying that because who's to say one day that I don't have to just basically go on to Universal with that. But as long as I'm adding stuff, it's okay. All right, but I can't change stuff. If that makes sense. Like the guys that I don't know, it's probably not prevalent in the Night Ranger world, but in KISS world, you got all these counterfeiters that are constantly pushing out a new color vinyl of a record. That's a total different thing.
Yeah, and a counterfeit for, if we use the Night Ranger example, would be, let's just use the Dawn Patrol colored vinyl that was released. Well, that was licensed through the band, everything done legally. But then, let's say we start seeing the Dawn Patrol record coming out looking exactly like everything else that's sold in a different colored vinyl, and you come to find out it's not licensed by the band. That's a counterfeit when it's meant to mimic something officially released. Some of those 80s bootlegs that Night Ranger has that you can't mistake really for an official album. Those are bootlegs. So that's the difference kind of between a bootleg and a counterfeit. So with these night, are you familiar with the Culture Factory and I Love Vinyl?
I am the I Love Vinyl. The other one there, I don't necessarily recognize that.
Well, Culture Factory is the company who distributes it in America from France.
Okay. All right.
So
I think
so these are imported color vinyl. Okay.
Yeah, they all come from France.
Okay.
And I think we both have did you have the Pieces of 8 from Styx?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'd seen you'd post that. So yeah, they, with Night Ranger, there's obviously not as much activity as, you would see with the KISS brand, but they released the purple Dawn Patrol in November, and it sold out pretty quick. There's 1,000 copies pressed.
Really?
And then the Midnight Madness was released on a light blue vinyl in late January, and it basically sold out within probably 3 days. So much that my Barnes & Noble order, I'd placed a couple orders with different places, but Barnes & Noble, they basically canceled my order just based on they say they couldn't. So I would assume with this company, they are more of a wholesale license because they're going through like Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Gosh, especially to be shipping them overseas, in bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what the distributor told me, I had contacted him personally, and so we did a podcast, and we were promoting the Midnight Madness, and he specifically told me, make sure you tell everybody that another shipment is coming from France, so when they sell out, there'll be one more shipment coming, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else is coming from France. But he couldn't tell me how many copies were coming either,
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's happening because we're nearing a month and I'm not seeing anything. Plus, Barnes & Noble canceled the order a week, maybe less than after it was released. So,
well, that almost sounds like a different kind of relationship than what I have, because so your guy that you talked to is the distributor, but he's purchasing import stuff, and not pressing it.
I think they're one and the same. It's just that they have one office in New York, and I think everything comes through them is what it does.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. That sounds like Yeah, yeah.
And
I've got quite a bit of French color vinyl that I don't know why it's showing up, so it's probably related to them.
Yeah, and come to find out, he's a one-man operation out of New York.
You gotta watch those one-man operations.
Well, but no, he's
no,
not.
that's I think that's what all these guys are. I think that's what all of them are.
He's not doing a book called Magic or anything like that. So.
Well, okay, yeah, okay with that. I got you.
But so yeah, I mean, I guess it was unique hearing that it was coming from France, and you would think the biggest, your biggest market would be the United States. But
it's all about a niche, man.
Yeah.
It's all about a niche. Yeah. Sounds like he found him a good one.
Yeah, and I think your licensing story with Peter Criss kind of answers a lot of our licensing stories with that Night Ranger one. So if they're advertising, because they do the fake, Obi strip,
right?
And I mean they do a really good job. The audio sounds good. I don't know if it's 180 gram. It may be just a slight less. But
yeah, I believe it is 180. I can get it real quick. If you want me to pull it out?
I've got mine right behind me. If you
go ahead,
either one of you
to the conversation.
But I mean, they do a great job. They get the labels right.
Mm-hmm.
They use a boardwalk sleeve in the first record, and it's actually better than how it originally came in just a plastic one. So they do a really good job, and the album cover's done well. It's not blurry or anything like that. Because I've gotten some
that's the bugaboo now.
Yeah,
that's the bugaboo.
They've repressed the Damn Yankees first record, or reissued it. Did a, and I can't even remember who did that reissue. But they made it a gatefold, which I thought that'll be interesting because the original wasn't a gatefold, and all it was the inside cassette cover of the collage photos, just enlarged, and so everything's just blurry. It's just horrible looking. Yeah. But they do.
This doesn't say, just so you know, it doesn't say anything on it what the gram is.
Yeah.
Doesn't say on the front at all.
If it's not 180, it's whatever's below 140 or something. I mean, it's still good quality, but so if they're doing that at 1,000 copies, and that's what they are putting right on the Obi strip, limited to 1,000 copies, do you think they are putting something in stone with the with Universal to say, we just want 1,000 copies, that's it, we pay X amount, or do you think they have the capability to do more if they wanted? Or maybe could they do something like you with Peter Criss? They say, hey, this is 1,000 copies.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, we got a neon green limited to 1,000 copies. Yeah. Do you think,
I mean, I just don't know how theirs is set up. I just don't know. I know when I put my requests in, like I swallowed hard going over 1,000, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
And but I just swallowed and signed it because I thought they're not going to think I'm serious if I ask for 1,000. Now, having said that, I would like to do some small pressings every now and then. I mean, there has to be a balance in here. Like I said, I was super shocked about how well those standard Rockologists went. So I'm committed to just having a standard release all the time. I mean, that's just. But as far as the numbers, I mean, like I say, I just kind of go by my gut on it anyway. I don't want to be stuck with a bunch, but I've got a 3-year license. If they say no, you got to ask for it again. You can't do another after the 2,400. I would just ask for more. There's certain things that may end up coming at some point in that time. Might want to do a picture disc of them.
Sure.
First thing I'm going to do is have a lot of fun because Tom is now the official license holder of this thing, and I can make eBay throw all these counterfeit picture discs off. So that's coming up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, can you, with you being direct to the fans, are you able to sell on Amazon and eBay?
I don't know, but yeah, I could do that. I could sell it, but I wouldn't because
direct to consumer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, No. I can sell there. It's just I'm not paying the fees. I don't pay a fee at my place. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No. I'm just saying that you were talking about you weren't able to distribute them.
Yeah. Well, like I can't because I did. I planned on wholesale. Okay. I mean, I was going to do, because that's just the next step. But I'm fine that it's just straight to consumer. But no, I mean, I was gonna, I still can do it with Peter. But if I can wholesale, I can go find a chain and do a specific color just for them. I mean, whatever Peter signs, it won't be like anything else that goes out.
Mm-hmm.
So and like I say, a lot of it's just learning what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do.
Well, you know how you were talking earlier. If you don't ask, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, can I have a free copy of each one that you do? I mean,
No.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, well,
You ask, he says no.
Well,
Didn't you say you won a contest?
Yeah.
Hey,
There you go.
I think it would be different if you weren't already buying his stuff. That's basically like, hey, can you just give me, $80 every time you release an album?
hey. So I promote him behind me.
So So Tom, you'll maybe someday we will have the Fans in Motion Night Ranger release, and we'll have to have you on and
We could do it.
And thank you for influencing us. Or maybe Tom's got some wheels turning in there, and he's like, they sold 1,000 copies that quick.
I'm telling you already, we could do something. Yeah, if they'll let us have it. They may not let us have them.
But
no, we could ask.
But
now, Tom, you saw Night Ranger, I believe, on the Creature Store. Did you not?
Yeah.
Okay. Because Andy and I saw him in Dayton. With Kiss.
Yeah. I saw him in Lexington. Hey, boy, I tell you, was there anybody at that show? Because there wasn't nobody at the one I was at.
It was light.
Well, the UD Arena is a very small arena.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they were in Rupp Arena, and so they cut it. They cut it in half with curtains, and then curtained off the upper deck. Yep. And the main thing I remember is a big wad of firecrackers landing in my wife's hair and going off.
That damn Josh.
No, they were good. They were good. I liked them. I still remember seeing them, and recalling them. I was just so ticked when I realized that Ace Frehley wasn't up there, and they had advertised him that day. They had advertised him that day being there.
I knew he wasn't going to be there.
Did Tom see him before we saw him?
Yeah, we saw him January 9th of 1983, and I think Tom's was either a couple nights before that. Ours was on a Sunday night. I think Tom's might have been a Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And well, no, I've seen the advertisements online since then, and I had told Andy I had seen on MTV the week before that Ace was being replaced by Vinnie Vincent.
Really?
Because Ace was in a car accident, is what they said. And Andy's like, he's going to be there. And I'm like, he's not going to be there. Yeah. And we get to the show, and they didn't have tour books on our show. All they had were shirts and hats.
Yeah.
And we walk up, and he looks at the shirt, and I go, I told you.
That was a disappointment in my life.
I will have to say I calmed down when I saw him bring out that violin bow and play with that, so I was okay at that point. But yeah, I wanted my money back.
Yeah, we got no violin bow in Dayton. He didn't do it in Dayton.
He did? Okay.
No, he did not.
Wow.
Now, was that the only time you've ever seen Night Ranger?
I think so. Yeah,
all
probably
right.
so.
Tom,
and you got to understand the timing here, okay? So, in '77, I was 17, okay? And I saw, I don't know, I got a stack of tickets about like that, But I got married when I was 21. Ain't no money then. And that was in '81.
Yeah.
So the only concerts really we saw, after that we saw Pink Floyd and we saw a couple others, but it just didn't have the money,
All right. Tell us a little bit. We're talking about the Kiss World here. Tell us about this 45 that you have up on sale.
Okay. I've got it right here, man.
Yeah, I've been watching this.
I treat it really well, man. So yeah. So this is a stock copy. Make sure I got the right one here.
By the way, Tom, you got pretty eyes. If this thing sells, I want you to know you got pretty eyes.
What's that?
Because this thing is selling. We'll get to what the price is on eBay at the end.
Okay,
But Andy even thinks you got pretty eyes.
Yeah. Anyway, so this was the release off of Hotter Than Hell. Let Me Go Rock and Roll, back with Hotter Than Hell. And so so this is referred to as a stock copy because it was intended to go to stores or whatever. The other version of it would be a promo version, and it has Let Me Go Rock and Roll on both sides. For whatever reason, Julian Gill of Kiss Fact, he's got paperwork from Casablanca, and I'm wanting to say it was fewer than 140. Yeah, it might have been 125 that were pressed, which nobody understands that. Why? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, why would that be all? But, you know, that I'm going to say it's probably right. I've been on this thing since like 1989, as far as being aware of them and actively looking, actively seeking, actively talking about this 45. Okay. I don't think that there is, I mean, there may be somebody that's got it in their collection they don't want to say, but I'm not really seeing it and the reason why I'm saying that is because, you know, this was serious research on this stuff. I mean, you know, when we've asked about this, it's not just me. When we've asked about this single, you know, we're trying to document this, and if somebody has it, they should say so. Okay. Nobody has said so. Up until last year, it was thought that there were only 2 of these in existence. And I've actually held both of those in my hand. Oddly enough, all 3 have resided in the state of Kentucky at one time.
Really?
Yeah. So the other copy let me start with this way. So my copy came from Gary Kahn. Gary Kahn was the publisher of Kissaholics, a Kiss collector's fanzine. You know, that's actually where I got my start in writing about Kiss, was there. And so, you know, I remembered when Gary got this. The other copy came to another guy in Lexington, Kentucky. Gary's in Knoxville. But came to a guy in Lexington, Kentucky that I knew and was good friends with. And his copy, it's what I recall of it, it's near mint, except for Ace Frehley signed it in a paint pen on one side. So I don't care who you are, that's not near mint anymore. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that copy. We got my copy. My copy is mint, near mint. And then a copy popped up on eBay last year, just out of the blue. And when I saw it, I could tell that the seller was a huge 45 seller, probably one of these guys that's got a garage just, you know, overflowing, got no idea what he's got where. And so I reached out to him immediately. I mean, I'm not buying it, but I told him, I said, look, you're going to have people try to offer you money and going to try to get you to stop this sale. I said, don't do it. I said, this is an extremely rare record. I said, there's only 2 others that are known in the world. And I said, you're going to get a ton of money for this record. And so, you know, he thanked me for it, and he kept it on. And then, so that record in very good condition, and by very good, I mean not very good, okay? In record collecting, grading, very good is not good. It's scratched. It's got, you know, tears on label and all that. And that 45 went for $5,200. $5,200. So just look sometime at Gold Mine Grading and take a look at what the difference in value is between near mint and very good.
Yeah.
And extrapolate that 5,200 out. I'm not doing it. I don't think it'd get that high.
And there's a lot of promo copies out there of Let Me Go Rock.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Okay.
You see now there's somebody's had one parked on eBay. Somebody told me for over a year, ever since that stock copy sold, and they've got a price of $200 and something on it. And you know, the thing of it is, they probably would get that if they would not put it up there as a set sale. You know, if they would just auction it, they would probably get that money for it, but they're not going to get that money for it.
Right.
You know, so they're rare. And then there's also, see, now we're going to dive way deep. There's also a Filmworks version of it. So in Kiss world, Kiss collecting vinyl world, you know, we go by different label types. There's the blue label, which was the original one from '74. And then they went to what we call a camel label in '76. And then in '77, they went to a Filmworks label. And so despite the fact they only pressed, what, 100 and less than 140 of the thing to begin with, they repressed that record. But apparently not very many, because you can't hardly find it, although there are a couple of variants of it. Now, one of the things that I'm most grateful for on this, so I hate counterfeiters. I fight counterfeiters all the time. I do my best. Like the abuse I take from people about not showing that B-side label on that is just unreal. So one of the things that I worried about was, okay, well, if you've got this one that's got Hotter Than Hell on it, well, you can just make the pressing from that. You know, you got you think you got all the correct information on the label. It's not. But what they really think is, well, they only did 140, so no way did they change the plates. Well, they did. It's not the same plate on the B side. So the only way, as long as the people that own the single don't release and we all know what it is. All three of us know what it is right now. If anybody ever tries to sell one and it ends up matching this, they're sunk.
You're talking about the dead wax area.
The dead wax sign off. Yeah, it is not. And I won't get into what it is, but if I did tell you, it's very jarring what the difference is. So,
and right now is what and the auction's going to March 1st. We're probably going to release this March 2nd, but we're recording Monday night, whatever today's date is.
The 22nd.
The 22nd.
Yeah, so there's 6 days left right now.
And we're at $6,280 for a 45.
We were at $6,150 right before we came on the air.
So yeah. Now that third copy that showed up on eBay you said that had some Kentucky origins as well?
Well, it's in Kentucky now. The gentleman, the one that lives in Western Kentucky. Yeah, we're good friends.
Yeah,
we're good friends. He asked me what I thought it'd go for, and I told him, and that's how he went for it. That's
that's cool.
Yeah.
And there's a little, obviously nothing like that in the Night Ranger world, but when you get to the Man in Motion album, which was an album they released in 1988, though both copies you can still get them. The stock copy of that album is actually harder to get because no one was really buying Night Ranger albums in 1988, but no one was buying vinyl either.
Right.
So there's a ton of promo copies out there. So so for every time, 5 times you look at a Man in Motion album, 4 times it's going to be the promo copy, and very rarely is it the stock copy. So, there is a little bit of correlation there when I tell people, this was actually reversed. The promo copy is actually easier to get, which is weird that, again, 125 copies were made originally. Have you ever tried or come in contact with anybody that ever worked in a Casablanca pressing plant back in the 70s?
I tried to do that a few years ago, and I knew when I started it was going to be futile. Those guys are all in their 80s now. If you were in your late 30s, a 20-year-old kid don't know squat in the factory. Okay,
yeah.
I mean, you got to be 30 years old or better to know what's going on, and they're gone, man. Yeah. They're gone. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I tracked down the plant manager for PRC Indianapolis in a town outside of my hometown in Lexington. And I'm 99% sure I did, but he'd passed away already.
All right.
You know, I still sent them a letter just to ask anyway. You know,
that's like here in Cincinnati when we had Kenner Toys.
Kenner, yeah,
and all those guys and all the men and women hoarded a bunch of those toys, and they still, you know, they'll pop up on the local news here every now and then. One did about a year ago with all of his Jurassic Park toys and was saying how incredibly expensive they were going for now, and he was thinking about selling them.
Yeah. You know, you were talking about Night Ranger records not being worth a lot. Look, and first of all, that's not what anybody collects. I mean,
no. Just,
you know,
I just wanted to say it wasn't nothing like the 6800 album.
No. I'm headed somewhere with this, man. Kiss records weren't worth squat. I mean, weren't worth squat until, you know, I think if now that I'm thinking back on, so I got back into it, probably not. Yeah, early mid 90s, because I had some thumb surgery done, and so I was in the library all the time. I was a plumber at the time. You can't be a plumber with one thumb, and so I was looking through price guides, and I just took a liking to them. I don't know why, just price guides in general, you know, and so I found a record one, and I'm looking through it, and it said like Kiss Alive 2 was worth $35, you know, and I'm like, whoa. You know, I mean, I got that. Of course, mine was garbage. Everything I had was garbage. But so Kiss Record Club records, worthless garbage until about 2 years ago, and now they're worth a mint. South American Kiss vinyl, garbage, absolute garbage. Still is garbage. Most of it, the condition of it. And you can't touch most of it now. It's so expensive. The stuff that you know that gets damaged, that's the stuff that's worth something. But you don't know. I mean, I don't have any way to tell you if they would become collectible or not. Kiss wasn't. I mean, you know, they had Kiss conventions and stuff, but you know, Kiss wasn't doing squat in the early '80s. I mean, you know, they just completely disappeared. Stuff was worth nothing. I still remember the article I wrote in Kissaholics when they reformed, saying, hey, man, this is what I think you should try to look for to buy, you know, consumables, stuff like that. You just don't know what's going to happen to it, you know. I mean, people now that show, you know, Kiss concert flyers from '74 that they got back in the early '80s for, you know, $50. I had a stage smashed Marauder that I bought for $300. You know, that's I mean, that's a long time ago.
How much did you get your pinball machine for, Brent?
Don't start.
Are you ready? $210.
Did you?
The $10 was for the guy to bring it to my house.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a touchy subject,
Mine
Tom.
was $900, but it was a piece of garbage cosmetically.
Andy dated a girl when we were kids, and her dad was a vendor. He serviced the vending machines and what have you. And Andy used to say, "Hey, if you can get a Kiss pinball machine, look me up." Well, I was still dating her best friend. Yeah, well, that's what. I was still dating this girl's best friend, and out of nowhere, I get a call, and she's like, "Hey, my dad's got a Kiss pinball machine." I went, "How much?" And this is 1987, and she goes $200. I went.
Good price.
I called. I mean, I just graduated high school. I called my dad. I'm like, "Dad, I need $200." You know. Now, right now, it's not.
Me.
Well, it's. That's what you get for dating her. You should have never dated her.
And also some connections with the Kiss world and the Night Ranger vinyl world is every South American copy looks like the minute they bought it, you know, they threw it in the street, let some cars run over it, spit on it, dragged it on their bicycle, and
vinyl in a collector's collection is like produce. Okay, I don't know if you ever noticed, but my wife taught me this because she used to sell wholesale food. So the cheaper the produce is, the better it looks. Okay, the more expensive it is, the crappier it looks. It's expensive because there isn't anything better. you know?
Yeah.
And so like my copy of La Mayor de Kiss from Argentina, I paid $400 for it. And it looks like somebody took the jacket and the disc and ran them over the sidewalk like that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, but yet I'm proud of it.
Now,
And
now
then-
Tom, you talk about, the infamous Dynasty. Everybody calls it the straight jackets. They're not
Yeah,
the straight jackets, but spandex.
Right.
In about 1991 or 92, I had found a copy of that at Everybody's Records here in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Really? See, I didn't even know it existed until
I had never-
books came out.
I had never seen another one until his Facebook pages.
Yeah.
But the problem with it was, it wasn't a gatefold, but it became a gatefold.
No.
And somebody had taken, those scissors that I guess you cut fabric with, and they put little
Pinky
dents in it.
Pinky
Yeah.
shears,
Well, somebody went around the corners of the cover, and it looked like they probably stuck a sticker on it and ripped the sticker off. So and I remember picking this up and looking. I'm thinking, and I just passed on it because, and I still would have passed on it to this day probably,
Yeah.
But I remember seeing that back then.
Wow.
And I've never seen one since then,
Yeah. Oh, they gotten out of hand too.
Yeah, they
They've
have.
gotten
I saw that one sell about a month ago for over $500.
Yeah. Oh well. Now mine.
Or 1,000?
mine co-
Was it
mine-
1,000?
Yeah, like 1,700. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mine was 400, and I bought an entire lot of Kiss junk from
I
the guy.
remember that.
And it was so bad. So do you remember seeing the wooden thing it came in? And he was so proud of it that I didn't have the heart to tell him, please put that in box for me. And so I had to pay for the shipping on this wooden box full of all this stuff just to get that record. That's
Yeah.
all I wanted out of it.
He didn't know he had it.
Yeah. And Mike Stone, one of my administrators, he was one that set me up on it. So there was a Kiss, the CD box set in the little guitar case in there. The hell, I sent that to him. I said, man, I appreciated the tip on it,
So Tom, in the whole Kiss vinyl collecting world, what is your favorite release? And it doesn't have to be like money value, just something that you think artwork wise, or just, is there something that just, maybe even a sentimental reason out there that's just something that is one of your favorites?
Well, I mean, sentimental. I've got a Live 2 that's just the outer gatefold and the records and they're crap, but that's because my dad gave them to me. But other than that, as far as like my favorite piece is, I'll stumble if I go over there. So like I've got now first of all, if it didn't have anything on it, if it's just the music and all that, it's the first album. Okay, for me, it's the first album. Everything got built off that. I know Paul's not real proud of the sound now, but I'm sorry, that record still has legs today to me. So that's that. As far as favorite pieces of vinyl, so I don't know. Like I've got a Ace Frehley New York Groove Snowblind that's got a Camel label on one side and a Filmworks on the other. So I like that. And in fact, I like that so much. I found that at a record store in Tampa called Bananas. If you ever get down there, go in there. And so that same day, I found the Era Live 2 for $12. And I didn't feel like that was the best buy. I felt like that single was. I liked the single more. So, but other than that, I mean, look, I've got variants. That's what I do, and so it's like, some people are like, well, don't you listen to your vinyl? No, I don't. I'm not going to play 40 copies of Alive,
Sure.
I'm just not. So, some of them are so bad, I wouldn't even put them on a turntable. Again, that produce thing, But no. But what I really enjoy, I've had the opportunity, been forced to go through my collection many times, taking pictures and stuff. So I do actually enjoy that, and I just like going into a section sometimes and kind of seeing the different things that were on there, and it's kind of the whole of it, not parts anymore for me. That's like, I would tell you that, the single that I'm auctioning, yeah, absolutely my favorite piece that I own or ever owned, but I'm 100% comfortable doing it because, again, I'm using the proceeds to help press the first record. So just kind of seems like that flows,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a certain piece out there, and it doesn't even have to be an expensive one, because it's always it seems to be the inexpensive ones that sometimes elude you, but is there a piece out there that, part of the KISS vinyl world that you've been on the lookout for? Well, you probably shouldn't tell it, because then other people will
I don't mind saying because when you're looking at certain records, you're not getting a deal. I mean, that doesn't matter. So at present, I'm not seeking anything, and I'm doing that on purpose to myself. I don't have time. I don't, what I'm saying. I'm in a really, really bizarro world spot right now. I got bunches of revenue getting ready to come in from record wrap and these records, not just the first two, all the rest of them. But yeah, I'm 4 attorneys deep right now. So yeah, I'm not buying anything. But once I get to the side of that, yeah, like Japanese Best of KISS, like that is the rarest LP that that's out there. They usually end up exchanging hands, behind scenes, not out in the open. There was one actually came up after I dropped out of this stuff, so I felt pretty good. I didn't go in a panic attack about not being able to bid on it or whatever.
Worst cover ever too.
Yeah.
Such a bad cover.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked like 1979 Spirograph.
Yeah. I've been fortunate, so there's like, I've got the top 20 most collectible records, KISS records in there. And that's most collectible on purpose. What's that mean? It doesn't mean anything. So everybody can discuss and argue about it. Sure. But I've been fortunate out of that. I've got about half of them. There's a couple of counterfeit ones that are also in that list that I don't care for. So, but when I do hunt something though, I try not to be specific looking for anything. There is tons and tons of KISS stuff in this world. And there are times that you got to pay a premium, but day in, day out, I'm just not gonna, it's just I'll find a bargain or something. Although I'm really getting away from the merchandise anymore. I just got too much clutter going on.
Yeah, I've got 2 pieces I'm thinking about letting go. I've got a mint KISS Unmasked cube.
Yeah. You get a lot of good money for that.
Everybody's records. When I was a kid, I walked in and they had one hanging up, and they sold it to me for $3. Went in the back room, they had 6 of them back there. If I'd known better, I'd bought all 6.
Man, and I'm gonna tell you, and you're gonna think I'm lying to you, but I'm telling you the truth. They still had one probably 10 years ago. Maybe they still have it. I tried to buy it, and they wouldn't let me touch it.
Oh yeah, behind the counter, it's all faded.
It was hanging up, all faded. Yeah.
But it's still there.
But I ended up finding one for myself. Same as you. Did you say yours is unassembled?
Unassembled. It's still in the bag.
Now, how can you do that, man? How can you do that?
What, not put it together?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, I sat down and looked at that thing. So mine's got the instructions and everything. It was perfect. And I'm looking at it, and I made a life decision because I'm going, this thing is in this bag, and I'm not enjoying it. If I put it together, how much am I damaging the value? I don't think enough. So I went ahead and put it together. Now, you want to talk about some stress. So I don't think we really talked about this. So I worked for Universal and KISS as a vinyl consultant when they rebuilt KISS's catalog. All those posters in the KISS area, they're from my collection. And, hell, I can't remember where I was going with that. It was a good point too. Where we're going?
Well, they were probably the cube. Yeah.
So I'm sending all this promotional stuff out to them, and they wanted the cube. And so I had to disassemble that cube. Man, I was then I had to pack it to send it out with other stuff, and somehow it got out there, man. It got out there safe and back to me, and it's back together, and I'm never taking it apart again.
Yeah,
that's man. That's major stress.
Well, there's so much vinyl coming out, and it's been sitting in the bag. It's been put away. I mean, I've been very disciplined as a kid. I think I told you when I was in the 80s as a teenager, I was buying all their vinyl. They're all 501s, of course. But they're all sealed. I was that anal kid. It wasn't I, Andy. I always was that guy.
Still are.
Yeah,
still. Yeah.
Josh tells me all the time, open up his vinyl.
I don't have a turntable. I've always collected vinyl.
Yeah,
I just love it. And I have an original. I have a Creatures 8-track. And after I've been seeing those sell for over $500, I'm like,
sell it.
I
sell
know.
it all.
If
Pay
you're
off your
thinking
house.
about it, you probably should.
Well,
I mean, I'll tell you that. And
it's like it's like when we went to Nashville to do the Gene Simmons Vault. I had those eye dogs that.
Oh wow, those are hard.
I sold all 4 of those. I paid for the vault.
Wow, great deal.
Andy pitched in $500 because he wanted to be my guest.
Yeah.
But I sold those for $2,000.
I sold nothing but my soul.
I got mine for a test printing of Alive. Was it Alive 2? I can't remember. Test printing of something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got some great stuff.
Man, I'm a very fortunate guy, a very lucky guy. And I mean, think about that. Every one of these records, test pressings.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know my story, and I'm not going to repeat it. But Universal's only called me a handful of times, but it wasn't to help.
Andy, you got anything you want to add before we wrap this up with Tom?
Yeah, just if you ever want to get rid of that shirt behind you, just contact me.
I told my wife I was going to put it on tonight. She said better not. Yeah.
Well,
she said you know why she said not to? She said he's going to look just like Jerry Seinfeld in his puffy shirt. I said it is his puffy shirt. It just doesn't have the puffies. That's all it's missing.
Well, just as Brent and I are both drummers, Kiss fans, and Eric fans, so that's just awesome. I've been looking at that over your shoulder, looking through you. Because you have something that the man himself wore, and it's just amazingly impressive.
I'm extremely attached to it.
Yeah, Andy,
I do need to send it out to get where I cut it. I need to get that sewn so that it doesn't unravel.
Yeah.
Now, Andy, you looking on Tom's shelf behind him? You see something that we went to behind him?
Blaze Fest.
See that yellow cup?
Yeah,
Blaze Fest sticker up there.
I just found my tickets for that.
I had tickets to that. Didn't get to go. I had tickets to the Gibson show. Didn't get to go. Worst part about that was the guy. So Francis O'Hara, my friend that had the autographed copy of the 45. So I was going to go up there with them, and so they come back and they go, "Yeah, we had a pretty decent time." And so they start showing me all the pictures where they ran into the band. I mean, the whole band. I mean, they would just hang out with you then. And they sat there and talked for about 2 hours. It's just like, okay, glad I missed that.
I snuck backstage after they went off stage.
Oh.
And it was, a hockey rink. And literally what was separating me between Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley was the wall of the hockey rink with the glass where they had moved it back there. And Gene just kind of went like this. And Eric Singer comes walking out, and I said, "Eric, can I get your autograph?" He goes, "Yeah, meet me around back." He actually came outside to autograph something. I mean, yeah, it was an awesome night.
Yeah,
wow.
Awesome night. Sorry,
it was an awesome night, Tom, that you did not get to enjoy.
Tom, you missed out. It was so amazing.
I'm living it now though, so that's good.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great, and I can't thank you for the wealth of knowledge that you've given me, and I still don't know anything.
Too kind, man. Y'all too kind.
And all the Night Ranger fans out there who are coming back into collecting vinyl, showing your vinyl on our page, messaging me questions. It all, my knowledge was all based off of Mr. Tom Shannon. So this is the, like I said, he's the on the Mount Rushmore of vinyl collecting for us. So Tom, before we're going to wrap this up, where can everyone find you at?
So I've got several Facebook groups. They're all the Rockologists. I have the Rockologist, the Rockologist Kiss Archives, Rockologist Buy, Sell, and Trade. That is for all bands. So is the Rockologist. Okay, we don't have a Kiss-centric view at either one of those. But then again, at the two Kiss ones we do, there's links to all those. And the website is therockologist.com, but I wouldn't go there right now. It looks like garbage. So it'll be nice here in a couple more weeks.
Yeah, well, we'll put an update out when you get everything going and let everybody know that it's there. So Brent, you got anything else? I know you do.
Yeah, one more. When do you expect the release of Peter Criss?
Well, the official street date is April 4th. We're out of control, but we're not going to hit that. That was before knew what the delay was. So it'll be spring. It'll be spring, and I'll have a good date here probably in another 2 weeks. I know.
And prices, what have you?
Oh, the prices I can tell you right now, as far as the standard, it's $25. I don't know for the deluxes yet. We're still discussing that. And like I say, we've got the same values on. Seem like we've got the same ideas.
Sure.
All right.
Good deal.
All right. Well, Tom, thank you for joining us. We'll definitely keep everybody updated when you get that website updated. But thank you for joining us, giving us some inside knowledge of just basically the licensing world, and giving us some fun Kiss discussion too. I know Brent is really enjoying it, and so am I. So
yeah.
Everybody, you get a chance, go check out those Rockologist sites, and when we tell you, go check out that Rockologist website. So, Tom, thanks for coming on, and
Appreciate it very much.
We hope to talk to you again down the road. Maybe there'll be a Rockologist Night Ranger edition or something. But thank you very much, my friend.
I thank you all very much.
All right. How was that? Wasn't that a great interview?
Yeah.
Tom Shannon is just fantastic. And I like I said earlier, I hope he becomes a friend of the show when he comes back on. The knowledge that guy has, and especially with Kiss stuff. I mean, I guess we should sidebar that. But anyway, Brent, just to remind people, where can we go to find and support Tom Shannon?
Okay, Tom has 4 different Facebook pages. He has the Rockologist, which is just any kind of record you want to discuss, any band. The Rockologist Kiss Archive, and that's basically Kiss merchandise, toys, shirts, etc. The Rockologist Kiss Vinyl Vault, which is strictly Kiss vinyl from all around the world, limited editions and what have you. Then he's got the Rockologist Buy, Sell, and Trade, where it's a marketing Facebook page where you can, again, just like the Rockologist, anything you wanted to sell, any band, whether it's Boston, which I would never buy a Boston record, sorry everybody, or if it's ZZ Top. I should have went AC/DC to ZZ Top, shouldn't I have?
Yeah.
In any event, you all get the gist. Those all 4 on Facebook, and he's currently revamping his website to sell the new Peter Criss album, and I think he's going to have some other merchandise that he still has, but that's the rockologist.com. ROCKOLGISTS.com. Thank you, Tom Shannon. You're awesome.
Yeah. Josh, anything you want to add before we sign this bad boy off?
Nothing I need to add. Just like I said, thanks for Tom for coming on. And if you're a Kiss fan and you've never bought any of these Rockologist records, every price level you're going to be impressed with. Even the $25, version of it is great to own. So check it out, and hopefully you guys learned a little bit about the music / vinyl / record business today. Andy, tell everybody where they can find us.
Yeah, and don't forget to check us out. You can find us if you go to Facebook or YouTube and just search Fans in Motion, Night Ranger, Tribute, Podcast. Any of those things are going to get you to us. And if you find us and you haven't yet subscribed or liked us, please do. It's our Facebook page is incredibly active, and the YouTube page is it's gaining steam, and it's fantastic. And you know, you can sit and just watch us yammer on about the greatest band out of Santa Rosa, California.
Rock and roll. Yeah, there you go. All your
right.
Night Ranger needs under one umbrella. Fans in Motion 2021. Watch out.
Our hot little corner of the internet.
What you guys? One of you do your Paul Stanley impersonation, and Andy, you do your Jack Blades right at the same time, and take us out.
I just want to
Keep it up.
I'm gonna do Dr. Johnny Fever saying booger.
All right, that's fine.